Hi everyone, so my name is Marianne. I'm the counsellor and the owner at Marianne Hanson Counselling Service. I specialise in working with couples and individuals around the areas of stress, depression, low self-esteem and relationships. And this information that I'm using today is not my information, so it's taken from various sources, but it is still really important because I do work with a lot of couples where they've had affairs and they're trying to move forward from that. So when there's infidelity in a relationship, the key thing there is that trust has been broken, and it can be really, really difficult for people to move forward from that. But there are ways that you can repair things after there's been an affair, and that could either be where there's been one person within the relationship that's had an affair, or where both parties have. You can still look at repairing it. So these are just 6 things, and I've taken these from various sources, but also some of these things I would probably work with a couple on as well. So the first one is there any remorse, and has that person take accountability for what's happened? So sometimes you can't erase what's happened, that's just a fact. And this is where I think for many people, they stay stuck in certain situations because they want someone to undo what's been done, and it's impossible. So whether someone's a gambling addict and they've sold everything to get the money for gambling, whether someone has just made a mistake that really can't be undone. So what you have to then look at is there any remorse? Has that person taken accountability? For me, sometimes, at least if that person says, I recognise what I've done, I own in what I've done, that's the difference between someone saying, well, it's your fault, you pushed me to do it, or yeah, I did it, but, and then doing all the list of excuses of why. So the first step in repairing when there's been an affair is the person taking full accountability for what's happened and showing some remorse and recognising the hurt and the pain that they've caused the person. The second one is being honest. So when I've worked with couples, it depends on what that person needs. So the person who's been the victim of the affair might say, I want to know every detail. I want to know when you did this, where you did it, who the person was, all the rest of it. Other people don't want the details. They just want the person to say why. The key things when someone's had an affair, they're going to ask the person, why did you do it? And then they're going to say, was it my fault? And then they're going to ask who it was or some of the details. Other people don't care. They just want an answer to why, the reason why. So you have to be honest. Now, when sometimes I've worked with people, or when even I've been like the victim of cheating, when someone says to me, I don't know, it just happened, or I was drinking, I'm just going to be honest. As a person, that's not acceptable to me, because I just think as a human being, you do know why, but sometimes you don't want to say the reason why. So an example would be someone doesn't want to say, I was bored in the relationship, so that's why I cheated. Or you wasn't giving me sex because you were, I don't know, pregnant at the time, that's why I cheated. Or I wasn't getting a buzz from life, so I just decided to cheat because it gave me a buzz. People don't want to say those things because they think it's going to come across as harsh, or they think there's going to be a consequence. But when you're not honest, the person is left thinking, if they don't know the reason why it happened, how do they know it's not going to happen again? So sometimes it is better to just say to the person, you might not like the answer of what I'm going to give you, but if you want me to be really honest, I will tell you. That is sometimes a better way. You don't know either way when you say that you've had an affair what's going to happen, but being honest is a way forward, and it's to repair. So the next step is to move forward, press that reset button. I've made a video actually called Pressing the Reset Button on Your Relationship. It's something that I'm always talking about with couples and with individuals. There's no point in staying in the relationship and then every day of that relationship continuing to say, well, you had an affair, so therefore this. Or remember when you had that affair. It could be related to absolutely anything. So, someone isn't washing up properly, and then you say, well, the reason you're not washing up is because when you had the affair, you were doing this. Or, the reason you're late for this appointment is because you were looking at having another affair. If you're going to live like that, it's not fair on the other person, but it's also not fair on you, because you're not really having a relationship if it's just based on something that's happened which can't be undone. So you have to figure out moving forward and how you do that. And that could be the 5th thing, which is consider working with a therapist. Going to see a couples counsellor could be one way. It doesn't mean that it's going to completely fix everything, but sitting down with a neutral person who's going to look at things objectively can be a way of, even if it means that's an opportunity for you to get everything out and then for you to decide whether you're going to be together again. But, you know, you just have to think about moving forward and the way that you can do that. It might be that you give your partner a list of things that they have to do. Now, I'm not advocating for this because I don't actually believe in dictating to someone, because as an adult, this is my personal opinion. As an adult, if someone has made a mistake or done something wrong, then it's up to them to rectify that. And if I tell them what they have to do, then that means I'm rectifying it for them. I don't want to say to someone, you can't do this or you can't go there. I want them to have the adult, mature, ability to say that I will go to the pub, but it doesn't mean I'm going to pick up someone, or I will be at work with like pretty colleagues or whatever it is. Doesn't mean they're going to, because if you have to say to someone, you can't work in an all-female environment, which I know people will say things like that, you can't go to the pub with your friends, you have to phone me every 10 minutes, then that's like pressure on you. Why should you be someone's like guardian? Wouldn't you want to be with someone who will do those things anyway because they love you and respect the relationship enough not to do anything to destroy it? And the sixth thing is to be selective about who you tell. When you've had an affair, or you've been the victim of the affair, or even if you've had the affair, depending on who you're sharing that with, there are certain people who are for your relationship and supportive, but there are lots of people who are not supportive. And it might be that they either care about you and they don't want you to go back into the relationship, or it could just be that they're not fans of your relationship. So telling too many people what's happened, they're not going to be neutral, whereas the counsellor will. But your best friend isn't going to say, yeah, get back together. And then what that might mean is cause doubts for you, but also you'll be going into that relationship thinking, well, no one's on our side anymore, so this feels really bad. This feels horrible being in this relationship because no one wants to invite us to parties anymore. No one wants to say you're a good couple. It's like it will feel like shameful or embarrassing for you to be still there. So there's no like fix it or solution or quick solution for these, but I think it is about, if you've made that decision to stay together after the affair has happened, it's about moving forward in the best way, and the person who's had the affair taking accountability, getting support when you need it, and just seeing what happens, because you can repair things after an affair. So if you found this video useful, feel free to leave it, share it, to leave your comments, and to subscribe to my channel if you want to get more videos like this. Thanks for watching. See you all soon. Bye.